want to show you something that, by the way, that shot of the osprey and the baby, that was Dennis Chambers. He allowed me to use it to demonstrate the suggestions I'm making. And this is by Becky Perrott. This is what she shot, and she was fascinated with this eye. It's a sculpture, I think, in China. So that's what she shot. So she then took that eye, changed the color, duplicated it, flipped it, and put the two together. And that's what we did on a previous class. So that's how she created that from that single eye. I thought that was very creative. So that technique is this technique that I showed you. Take this image. We had this image. Went to image, duplicate. And now I have two of them. Take the original, doesn't matter which one I do it to. Take that. I want to add canvas to the left, to the right, I'm sorry, to the right. The width of the original was 4. I'll make it 9 just to have a little extra space, and we'll crop off later. So now I've added some blank canvas. And the question before was, when I do that, what's happening? Well, I've actually changed the image size to 9, as well as when I added the canvas and made it 9. The image really is 9, but it has blank space in it, no pixels there. Now take this image and rotate it horizontally. So go back to this image, flip it horizontally. I have this one. Get the move tool, grab this, and move it into this image. And I can move it around, and if I want to just bring the two together, I can do that now by just using the arrow keys to move it closer together with where I want it to be. That looks pretty good. I'll remove that crop. I'll crop off that extra canvas that I don't want. I always put a little extra in there so I can move the images around how I want them to be. So now I have this, and the reason I want to show this again is that I had an idea the other day. Someone said to me, geez, that looks like a face in the middle. It looks like 2 eyebrows and a nose and then a mouth down here. Oh, yeah, okay. So I flattened the image. Went to image, layers, flatten image. And then, I don't need this one anymore. I went to the internet, and there's a site called Pixabay, Pixabay.com. And I keyed in the word search for eyes, and it came up with, let me open this for you. Came up with this image with those eyes. They had a lot of them, but I thought these 2 eyes were very striking. So I wanted to use those to put them into that image of the architecture. So I made a selection of the 2 eyes. There it is here. Made that selection with nothing in the background. In fact, let me do that for you here. I selected all the white area. Oops. Oh, it's not letting me do that. Oh, it's with the layer locked, it won't let me do certain things. So now I hit the backspace button and it removes all of the pixels. The problem was, let me go back one step so that you see it. I had selected the background. I was trying to use the backspace key and it wouldn't let me do it. That was because you see the layer is locked. The background layer, when you bring it in, always is locked against certain tools. Just unlock it. Click on the lock and it unlocks it. Now I can do things to the image of any image. Hit the back space button and I have the eyes only. Remove the dancing ants. Then I got the move tool and I moved the eyes into this image. Don't need these anymore. Now they're way too big, of course. So I will edit. You notice they're on a separate layer, by the way. And there are two of them. If I get the move tool and move this here, you see there are two eyes. That's this separate layer, layer one. Go to edit, free transform. And I can hold the shift key and just resize these eyes. Move them over in this area here so I see how big they are. I'll zoom in some, take a look. Click on the check mark. Now I want to fade them into the background, so I will just use the opacity of those eyes and just sort of fade them in there. And if I don't want these tough, rough edges around there, I put a mask on that layer, black in the foreground color, get my paintbrush, and instead of painting pure black, I'll take it down to maybe 30, 35%, so that I just get and want a soft brush, so that I just paint around the edges of those eyes to blend them in more to the background without removing them entirely. So now I have sort of a spooky looking image, and I think it has much more interest than just without the eyes. Let me turn the icon off on there, turn it on, maybe bring the opacity back up a little bit. That's pretty neat. And if I wanted to adjust the highlights on that, I could come up to the adjustments, hit the levels, click on the little white square at the bottom of the properties palette with the drop-down arrow. So now it will only affect the eyes, and I can lighten them just a little bit, create a little bit more contrast by bringing in the middle slider some to where I want them to be. So very interesting image that way. Play with that. It really does look like a face now. And again, save as TIFF allows me to keep the layers, and I can come back and readjust it. So it's that technique that Becky used with the eyes. She just put the two eyes together. I wanted to put eyes in here, and so I went to find some eyes and made a selection of them and then put them into this image.